Hey everybody, we are making some spicy peach jam. So I peeled and pitted my peaches, and now I'm just chopping them up. And we want 4 cups, and the only reason I'm showing this part is a lot of people don't know the measuring aspect of it. It says prepared fruit. Well, some people think, okay, I've peeled and chopped it up, it's that. You want it cut up small for your jam, or whatever size you want it, if you want it more like preserves. But you want to use a dry measuring cup, not a liquid measuring cup. And you want to measure your chopped up, mashed fruit or juice. You would also measure the juice in a dry measuring cup. So that's what that means. Prepared means ready to go in the pot and make jam. So don't measure your fruit as you're just chopping it up, getting it ready. Measure it after it's all mashed up and chopped up. I see that question a lot, so I just thought I'd throw it into the video. Here's our fruit. You'll need lemon juice and sugar and pectin. I'm going to, the plan is to make half of this spicy. So I've done it with jalapeno, and that just wasn't like enough for me. So I have these hot Thai red chili peppers. After I fill a few jars, I'm going to add that to the rest of the jam to have some spicy jam. So I'm not going to cook it in the jam because I don't want the whole batch spicy. I did add citric acid to this to hopefully help with browning. If you want it to stay a bright color, you can add a little bit of orange or yellow food coloring. So we need 4 cups of fruit. And like I said, you're going to measure it in your dry measuring cup. Get that burner going. My husband just got home, so if you hear a little dog chaos, don't sweat it. And it takes about 3 pounds of peaches to get 4 cups. And I think this will be 4 cups. So I'm just going to dump the rest of it in. You're going to need 5.5 cups of sugar. And a package of Sure-Jell. And we are going to add 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Move over to the pot. to, and for those that don't know, lemon has a lot of pectin in it. We are going to add our pectin. And then we are going to bring this to a full boil that you cannot stir down. When you get to that point that you cannot stir it down, you will add your sugar and bring it back to a boil and boil it for exactly 1 minute. So we have 4 cups of prepared fruit measured in a dry measuring cup. We have 5.5 cups of sugar, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and 1 packet of dry pectin. Mix that in well and bring it to a boil that you can't stir down. So I am going to do that, and when it comes up to a boil, I'll come back. Okay, when it starts boiling, if you're seeing foaming, you can add a pat of butter. It'll help bring the foaming down. It'll also lower your temperature a little bit if it's cold. You can skim that foam off if you don't like it before you can the jars. I have my jars in the hot water bath, and I leave them in there until I'm ready. I have my debubbler, my magnet. I do not use ball lids. I would highly recommend boycotting Ball products. There are enough canners out there to force them to change their shady product making ways. This is my opinion. I know a lot of people complain, but they keep buying the product. I get mine by the sleeve at Lehman's. You can get them at Amish websites, Amish stores. So I would recommend that. I do get mine hot because, like I said, they're not ball lids. I'm seeing all kinds of buckling with lid. I'm seeing things happening in canning that I've never seen in my life. More breakage of jars, warped jars. I know some of the newer ones that I have, there's seams in them and bowed out bottoms, for lack of a better description. So you want to get this boiling to where you can't stir it down. I'm using this spatula because I didn't want to torture your eardrums. And you can chop your fruit as small as you like. I like more of a preserve, but if you want it more jammy, less chunks, just chop it up smaller. I'm going to take the lid off my canner. Just so it's ready. Did I steam you all out? I'm steamed out. Shoo-wee. And just stir, stir, stir. Don't want that to burn at the bottom. Whew, it's hot in here, even with the air conditioner on. Usually this spot I'm freezing even when I'm canning because the air conditioner, the vent's right over my head. Sorry about the steam. Oh, and a storm's arriving. So if you hear loud crashes, that's thunder. splattering me. This is just about there. If you would like to cut the sugar back in your recipes, you can do that by ordering Pomona's Pectin. It sets up just about any recipe, low sugar or sugar-free, with a substitute, that is. I guess if you had enough fruit, you could boil it to 220, but I find a lot of times you end up with more of a candy, and I don't like that. It's a fine line between 200 and 210 to not get that jam or jelly to a candy state. I would pull it off at 200. If you try to get it to 210, it'll cook, and then it'll go over 210 a little bit. And I've just learned those tricks from making candy. Okay, we're going to add our sugar. And we will be bringing it back to a boil. And when it comes back to a boil, we are going to boil it for 1 minute. And if you're using one of these pots, they also retain a lot of heat. So you want to be careful. This is an enamel cast iron. Okay. So we are going to bring this back to a boil. Get all that sugar mixed in and dissolved. And then we will come back when we're putting this in our jars. Okay, we're at the boil. I've set my timer for 1 minute. And this is what you want, a boil you can't stir down the first time and the second time. Stir, stir, stir. Turn my heat down just a little bit. Stir, stir, stir. There we go. I'm going to take this off the heat and move it. Turn us around this way. I have my pot right there. I'm going to get some jars. My little grabber here so I don't burn myself. Let's see. closer. My funnel. We're going to do this. You can do it to a 1/4 or a 1/2 inch of headspace. I'm just going to stir this a little bit to stir that foam down. And if that doesn't work for you, you can skim off that foam. I got my ladle. And just to show you, if you don't know the measurements by looking at your jar, if you have one of these, there are markings on each one of these, and you put it on your jar like this, and it will measure for you. So it's all right there, inch, 1.5 inches, 3/4, etc. And that will help you with measuring your headspace. You just don't want to have too much headspace or too little headspace. Ooh, I'm hot. Get these filled up. And I'm hoping I did enough jars. I need to get some more out of the canner. Try not to burn myself. Chasing storms. So if you hear the TV, that's what that is. They get excited about weather here. What? You can debubble. I really don't debubble jams and jellies because I find you add more air than you remove. But if you're seeing that you have a lot of bubbles, go ahead and do that. Debubbling is important. Okay, now I'm going to add these chilies, these peppers, to the pot. So the rest of my jam will be spicy. Maybe 2 or 3 jars. Okay, probably 2 jars. Oh, well, that was a hot mess. See, you can have a disaster. I didn't put my funnel in, and I spooged it everywhere. Do you hear that thunder? I need another jar. Can't believe I did that. See, it's hard to focus when you're doing a video. A bit more. Now, I'm going to back up. Here's our jars. The lighting got bad because of the weather. Paper towels. And you want to clean your rims very well. Very, very well. They're very hot, so be very careful. Get lids on these. Oh, I forgot to get rings. See, I always try to be on it, and I wasn't on it. Let me get some rings. Tons of wide mouth rings. Fingertip tight. Not so hot. Fingertip tight. Put it in your canner. Where's my little grip? Fingertip tight. And this is the one I made the biggest mess on. Get that off, and I can tell with the cooling that my jam is going to set up just fine. Okay, that mess cleaned up. Two more lids. And I need two more rings. Take the jars out I didn't use. It's only two. And we got 7 half pints. Need to find one more. Clean our rims. We will put this in the canner. When the canner comes back up to a boil, we will process this for 10 minutes. Here is our canner. I'm going to put the lid on it, let it come back to a boil, and process these for 10 minutes. We'll be back. Whew. Clean up my mess. Okay, we're done. I'm going to take this off away from your face. I need pot holders. Okay. Back. Back. Got to see my concrete floor. Already popping or pinging. I tilt them just a little bit to get water off. Kind of close together there. Hear them? That's a beautiful sound. And if you have one or so that doesn't ping, just put it in the refrigerator. So there we have it. So there are our jars of peach preserves, probably more on the preserve side because I have more chunks, and they're pretty. And if you do decide you want to use food coloring to enhance or keep color longer, you would put it in the very end of the boiling. So there we have it. If you have any questions, post them down below, and I appreciate you watching. I would love it if you subscribe if you haven't, and thumbs up helps. And I will see you all in the next video. Stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands.